Welcome to GrayPrimer.com. My name is Nick, I'm your host, and on today's episode, we're unboxing the Beast from Mantic Kings of War, LORD on Chimera. Wow. So, this one was not to be missed. There was no way I was passing up this model. I saw it on the pre-release list on whalengames.co.uk, link below, and I just thought, no, wings, claws, 3 heads, this guy with his weapon. Maybe he thought that morning that he was getting a less impressive ride for the day. Maybe it was like in the carpool or whatever. He thought, like, I'm going to get like a pony or something, or a mule, or ride a hairy pig to work day, but no. So he thought, yeah, I'm going to need a weapon. But instead, the Chimera turns up and is like, okay, I could probably do with a better helmet. Does he have a helmet? It doesn't look like he has a helmet. I think if I'm going up on this thing, especially if it's going to be running around or flying, I'm going to want a pretty sturdy helmet on my head. But anyway, let's get into it, because I can't wait to see what this thing looks like in the flesh. Alright folks, so here we go. This is Mantic's Kings of War, LORD on Chimera. If my pronunciation is off on that, if it's Chimera or Chimera or something, sorry. It's going to be Chimera for the duration of this unboxing. And you're not here to correct me, so this is just how it's going to go. Mantic's tiny little logo up there in the corner. Kings of War, LORD on Chimera. And would you look at this thing? And the paint job as well. Whoever did their paint job for them is just deserves a mention here, because that is just lovely. We've got the Lord of the Piece with his axe, I think that is, or a hammer. It's hard to tell, because obviously when you're going into battle, you need an axe, especially if you're riding a mythical 3-headed uber monster. You definitely are going to need to have some kind of a hand weapon, because, having a gigantic dragon head, some kind of a demon cat, and I don't even know what that is. What is that? It's kind of goat-like, but with pointy teeth. Oh, wow. I don't know. Answers on a postcard, please. Tell me what that creature is. Here we have it on the back as well. And we got the 3 heads. We got our demon dragon, our demon cat, and our demon goat. And then our dude of the piece. And the X1 is like 1 miniature. This is not 1 minute. This class is 1 miniature? I don't know. Let's get it opened and see. Hey, Mantic points. I talk about them, but, it's a nice touch. Throw on a couple of Mantic points there. Collect those up. Get some free things from Mantic. I haven't actually done a count in a while. They kind of accumulate quietly behind the scenes, because I do order stuff from Mantic fairly regularly. So let's just see. Yeah, there's a few there. I got a few just down at the bottom of the frame. Tuck those out of the way. Maybe it's time to go onto Mantic's website and see what's available. Because I got what did I get recently from them? The Northern Alliance Army. And I got the Dread Bull team as well. So I probably got, I'd say, nearly 15 there, maybe. This is a big baggie. I'll just tip this in. Oh yeah. Huge base as well. And a little ASMR for you. Bubble wrap. Yeah. Thanks, Mantic. Okay. Enough shenanigans. Huge base. Let's see what this measures in at. This is... I'm sure we have centimeters on this somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. 75mm base, which in inches is 3. So a 3-inch base, 75mm. Got a poly bag. Out of the way. The size of this wing. Wow. The other one. Oh man. This thing's gonna be big, right? It's not gonna be Mantic Giant big. Well, maybe it is. Where's the Mantic Giant? Here is the Mantic Giant. Let's get him some wings. Yeah, that scales. Cool. Absolutely not what the Giant is intended for. Imagine the amount of lift that would be required to get that heifer of a man off the ground. That's cool. Our wings are groovy tail with our contact point. No. I was thinking like that's a great pin for onto the base, but of course this base is flat. It's laser cut MDF, so that'll probably just need cut off. We have a foot that looks like a right foot with great claws. Lovely detail too. These are huge chunks that need cut off. That'll actually need a saw, I'd say, to get that off. It's firmly on there. Yeah, I don't think a hobby knife is going to cut it. It's going to cut it. This looks like the left front paw. Yeah, great claws. Oh, would you look? That's amazing. It's actually got, full-on pads and everything. It looks kind of... if you looked at it like that, it's like a little kitten paw. It's lovely. It's just lovely. And then, no. And then we have the left rear paw with claws and little pads as well. Right rear. I think we're going to have to get the cats onto camera the odd time. They do, let me see, inverted commas, help me when I'm building from time to time. By that I mean hinder. You got helper monkeys and you got hinder monkeys. Cats are most definitely hinder monkeys. So, is this our goat? This looks like the goat part. That is definitely a goat. Maybe it's supposed to be like Baphomet or something. Some, satanic goat. Which is fine. Said nobody ever about Baphomet. It's fine. It's not hurting anyone. Then we have our horned cat with his super pointy teeth. So, look at the detail around these eyes and everything. Even the back teeth there as well. Oh man. Look at the upper palate. You've even got that sort of striation that you get on an upper palate. On the backs of the teeth, the gums. Mantic. This is just great stuff here. Blistering quality. So where are all these animals' lower jaws? I guess they're on a sprue there. So here's our dragon. Looks kind of like a Skeksis. Just from that angle. Great detail on the scales. Oh yeah. Mantic, you just surprise me. You really do. Sorry. Part Skeksis, part Yoda. And this is... it's a lower jaw. I'm thinking the cat. Got a tongue. These rods here are really tough. So these will need cut off. I think it's going to have to be a Dremel to get that off. But that's no big deal. When the detail is this good, you can put up with a little bit of extra work to get it cleaned. And we got a couple more jaws here. One is Baphomet, the funny demon goat. And the other one is our dragon Skeksis. These blocks. I'm interested actually in how these are manufactured. I must look into it. See if there's any videos of them actually making these minis. And we have an arm. I'd say a human arm, but I don't know if Northern Alliance are human. Huh. And it's an axe. It's not a hammer. It's got it bevels in here. So, that's cool. And once it focuses, oh, his other arm. I can work out what it was there. And it looks like an antler headpiece or something, maybe, or hard to tell. Once it's put together, I'm sure it'll make much more sense. And he is saying, I should have worn a comfier pair of trousers, because sitting on this Chimera is bumpy. You get 3 separate heads telling the legs where to go. It is going to be a bumpy ride. Does he have an eye patch? Okay, let me get some more light on here. What is going on with the eyes there? Just trying to make out that detail. I'm not saying that this is a low detail mini, because it is absolutely not, but maybe it is just my eyesight, but it looks like an eye patch. We got a lot of trophies here hanging around the clothing. Animal pelts, sturdy boots. And, I mean, look at the detail here. Even the little strap going between the legs here, I guess, for part of the armor or something, to stay on the body, to be more stable. I mean, there's no reason for them to put that in there. There's no reason whatsoever. And yet, it is there. It's kind of like the paws on the bottom of the Chimera, where they have the pads, and you just think, yeah, there's no laziness here. There's no, oh, we don't need to worry about that, because you won't see that, so let's not bother. This is just, yeah, it exists, so let's get it in there. Let's make sure all the details are covered. And then we have the main body of the Chimera itself. I don't know what he's complaining about. That looks like a pretty comfy saddle to me. But yeah, I imagine it'd still be bumpy. And then our 3 separate necks for the heads. Some kind of strapping system here, I guess, for the control mechanism for it, and for the saddle. And where its tail attaches at the back. I love it! I gotta say, I absolutely love it. I love the Mantic Giant. I thought that was one of the best large miniatures I've ever seen. And I still just stare at it from time to time, because it's just gorgeous. This is of that quality. And it's not crazy expensive either. I found this to be very reasonable. The Mantic Giant is crazy reasonable price. For such a large mini. You think it costs like a fraction of the Glotkin miniature from Games Workshop, and is so much more solidly put together than the likes of the Glotkin. Like that giant, I was doing photos with him in the garden like last week, and he fell a couple of times, I gotta say. I was sort of balancing it on the edge of a fence to get like a woodland background, and he took a couple of tumbles, and I kind of feel that if that was one of the larger miniatures, in inverted commas, from Games Workshop or from other manufacturers, that there would have been tears for broken pieces, but that big dude from Mantic, just like, poof, no, not a bother. He's kind of, it feels like an action figure. It feels like a solid action figure. Insanely detailed and was so much fun to put together. I would love to say that I will paint it eventually, but I will probably not. Maybe someone else would do it. I don't know. But I probably won't get to it. Anyway, the Chimera here is glorious. I loved the images when I saw it on Wayland Games' website. And then when I looked at it on Mantic's website as well to see if there were more sort of close-up images. And I was blown away by what it looked like online. Seeing it here in the flesh, yeah, like this is top level miniature manufacturing and sculpting and molding. The only work I have to do here is most likely trimming off those huge lumps, and that will require a Dremel. And I know that's not something everyone has. One of those kind of multi-tools. You could also use a small saw, one of the little, the fine bladed saws. I don't think a hobby knife is going to cut it. You would most likely just end up damaging your blade or ending up sort of getting frustrated because you're sawing at it with that for a while. So I'd say, see about getting one of those little saws, or if you can borrow a Dremel or something from someone, do that. But yeah, I will go and get it stuck together and see how we get on, and I will be back. But I am very much looking forward to putting this together. See you soon. Bye. And we're back with a fully built up Lord on Chimera, and he brought a friend. He brought along the Mantic Giant right here. For scale, and also because the Mantic Giant is super cool. So we just wanted to have another look at that. Mantic Giant is currently holding one of these Raphael brushes. It's normally my poster boy, and I do some photo stuff with him to promote the channel on Instagram. I mean, let's just take a moment to appreciate how ultra cool Mantic's Giant is. I mean, the detail in this mini, the amount of love and attention that went into this guy's ugly mug, just breathtaking. The shield, like a full-size shield here just strapped to his arm with a little bit of a forearm protector. I modified it slightly so that he's actually, instead of carrying a weapon, he's carrying a person, like just carrying him around like an action figure. And then I modified it so that he could hold a paintbrush, so that I could do pictures with him. I just love this big dude. And he really wasn't expensive either. I remember him being really reasonably priced. You can see the animal pelts and all, because we're not talking one beastie here, we're talking multiple pelts, because this guy is huge. Great detail from right down to the tips of his toenails. And I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. Love that one. But, focus. And our focus today is on the three-headed beastie known as the Chimera. Putting it together is really straightforward. Didn't take a huge amount of cleaning either. A few mold lines. There was a little bit of gappiness that I had to fill in just where the heads connect and stuff. But I was very happy with the putting it together. Happy with the limited amount of work I needed to do to it to get it ready to prime. And very similar to the Giant, actually, in speed of getting it onto the priming table. That's not actually a thing I have, but you know what I mean. But no, I really love this. It's got a lovely sort of solid feel to it. There's nothing flimsy or fragile about it. And for scale, you can see it here, alongside the Giant. Sorry, out of frame. There you go. One giant man and his dog. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Sorry, Giant. Really great detail pickup there, even after a fairly heavy dusting of primer. Because the model is so huge, you have to be just careful not to overload any part because you could get loss of detail. But you do have to be careful that you're getting the whole Mini covered rather than leaving sort of part of it without primer on it. I am blown away by the detail that goes into these large-scale Mantic Minis. It's equal to anything else I've seen at that large scale. And I actually think that the quality of production is one of the highest in these larger scale minis compared to the likes of Creature Caster, Kingdom Death, Raging Heroes. I put these these maxis, the Mantic Giant, the Lord on Chimera, above all those other companies. This is really fine work, beautifully finished, easy to put together, minimum amount of work to be done to get it ready to prime. So the minimum amount of sort of cleaning up of mold lines, of filling gaps. They didn't feel particularly fragile to me at any point. I'm not saying they're not brittle. They could be brittle, but I found them... It never felt like they were at risk of breaking on me. Compared to other minis that I've made of this size, where I was always a little bit cautious that something was going to snap, or I was a little bit concerned something was going to snap off. And at no point when I was putting them together did they ever feel fragile. You know, they're definitely not fragile now that they're built, but there are sometimes when you're building larger kits where you're just sort of the little details, little bits and pieces that you're putting onto them to finish them off, and you think, oh, this could snap so easily. Not with these two. These two, it feels like they are really built to be played with, built to get out there onto the tabletop. And I don't mean that in the sense of like it being like an action figure or a toy. It still feels like a serious collector's miniature. The level of detail throughout these is sensational. Utterly sensational. This would be a painter's dream. And I think that the painted versions of this that I've already seen, are stuff of nightmares. But in a good way, good nightmares. But listen, great stuff. 10 out of 10 to Mantic for both of these. I know that the Giant was a little bit of extra content, but I am so pleased with these kits. Great stuff, Mantic. Keep it up. More, please. I just can't stress that enough. I would love to see more of this type of stuff from you. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I know that the Giant wasn't supposed to be in this video and he just kind of came in, and there'll probably be other videos in the future where the Giant comes back in again because look at it. It's awesome. But for now, like, subscribe, leave a comment below if you can. Next time on GreyPrimer.com, we're going to be unboxing Weird Miniatures, Other Side, Twisted Horrors. Pre-built miniatures from Weird. Yay! Because every time I've tried to build one from scratch, they break. Unlike Mantic's robust Lord on Chimera here. But that'll do it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.